All right, back to our demo. Let's take a look. Now that the query is being forced, can I tell if I'm looking at the queries? Here is the version of the query that compiles the slow plan. And I'm gonna first just run the estimated plan. I did Control L, the same thing as this button up here. Even though I know that auto-tuning is on for this and that it's saying, no, I want you to use the last good plan, when I do estimated plan, I still see, hey, window spool. This is still slow plan. So Control L, I'm saying I want to show me how you would optimize this. You know, don't look at stuff in the execution plan cache. Give me a fresh optimization. And it's saying, oh, I would optimize this as slow plan. But if I turn on actual execution plans and then actually execute it, and I'm saying don't go off the plan in cache, exec with recompile, hey, that only took 3 seconds. I think I got fast plan, right? Well, how can I tell? Looking at my execution plan, oh, sure enough, I did get fast plan. Here's my nice window aggregate operator, and it's in batch mode. Yeah, this is fast plan. Well, how can I tell that this was guided by that? Well, not guided, but really forced. If I look at the properties of the node farthest to the left, which in this case is a select into, I'm using select into inside the procedure so that if I run it 75 times in a row, it doesn't spew 75 result sets in the management studio, by the way. Use plan equals true. When you see use plan in your plan properties, that means, hey, somebody told me that I needed to use this plan. And in this case, what was doing that is the automatic plan correction feature. So let's go back and let's refresh our report here. And now notice that we have a new dot who showed up. We have plan ID 15. And this might look curious to you. It certainly looked curious to me the first time I saw it because I've got a check mark over here on plan ID 5 and saying, hey, I'm forcing this guy. But now I've got plan ID 15, a different plan ID, and it doesn't have a check mark. That almost, when you first looking at this, it kind of looks like it didn't force it. This is a different plan. But it has the same shape, and let's compare those two plans. Plan ID 15, the one I just generated, here we have it, and it even says here, let's get rid of that tooltip, right? Notice here, it says, not forced. Well, let's look at the properties. We can look at properties here just like we can before. And notice that when I do look in the properties, it says use plan is true. Right? This is the same plan that had use plan. What are the differences between this and plan ID 5? Well, let's look at the estimates and the cost. On my select into here, if I look at my estimated subtree cost, it's 574, right? That's a chunk of data. And if I look at in my parameter list, my threshold, this was compiled for threshold equals null. Well, looking at the one who's back here, the one that has the check mark, what parameter list was it compiled for? It was compiled for, the old fast plan was compiled for a different value, 500,000 for the parameter value. And notice that the lines, these estimates are different. That plan estimated that only one row was going to come out of the filter. And it had, based on those estimates, it had an estimated subtree cost of only 28. So I have the same shape as this plan. I have the shape with the window aggregate operators with the batch mode, but on my new one, it did pay attention to the value that I optimized it for. And for the different threshold value, it thinks not just one row is going to come out of that filter, but that a lot more rows are going to come out. So although a plan shape is being forced on this, it is still looking at the parameter that it compiles for. It's still thinking about statistics. And I can tell that the plan is being shaped by looking at the properties and seeing that use plan is true. So the fact that this checkbox doesn't show up over here doesn't mean that magic isn't happening. Magic is happening behind the scenes if I see a checkbox anywhere on this screen. And possibly this report will change in the future and evolve. We recently got this report, so we'll see how that evolves. But as for now, I would look very carefully at plan properties in here when I'm asking the question, has this been auto-tuned?